Hey, what's up, everybody at Sports Talk Detroit? This is Craig. That over there is Chris, and we are going to be talking about Lions' position of need, wide receiver. Chris, don't we all agree that we need more wide receiver talent? Even the wide
Yes.
receiver coach is saying we need wide receivers, like
Yes.
3 or 4, right?
Yep. Bring
All
them
right,
in.
let's do it. Let's talk about wide receivers. Let's look at the free agency pool. We just did a mock draft, and we saw a bunch of wide receivers go off the board to us. But now let's talk about the other way of getting wide receivers, and that is proven talent in the NFL. So we are going to talk about 5 possibilities. Chris, just let me know. Do you like them? Don't you? Why or why not? All that good stuff. And we're going to start with Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Bucks. The dude has had 5 pretty solid years. And he's definitely had flashes. The last couple have been even better with Brady. But what do you think about Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay?
So with him, I'm going to say yes and no. So ultimately, I'm going to say no. Let's not pursue him. But what I love about him, he's 25, good age, best years are ahead of him. He's reliable.
Sure.
He's out there. He just makes plays. He's a good, I don't want to say great, but just a nice, solid NFL receiver that you plug in day one. It's done. He's in. But the price tag is just too steep for us. I think as Lions fans, we're looking to build. We have so many holes, and we just can't tie it up. It's kind of like last year with Gallup. It's just too much money for me. So I love him. I think he's a great wide receiver, but just his price tag is probably going to be too much. What do you think on that?
Yeah. So it's funny that you said Galladay. Now, I think Godwin is definitely better than Galladay. There's no doubt about that. But when you were saying price tag, I was just reading an article on The Athletic that said his price tag should be similar to Galladay's from last year. And I think that was 4 years at like 17, 18 million a year. That's heavy. That's almost all of our money. Like we might be able to free up close to 30, but it'll probably be in that 20 to 25 range. I don't want to spend all that on a receiver that's pretty good that just tore his ACL. Do you? That's just like he's had some good seasons. He's only had 2 years. This is shocking to me when I was looking up his stats. He's only gone over 1,000 twice in 5 years. And the last 3 seasons, he's played 14, 12, and 14 games. Durability is somewhat of a concern. It's not worth the money at a position that gets injured so often. You can't just throw down 18 million unless you have a superior, like good wide receiver.
I agree. Yep. That's it.
Just doesn't make sense. All right, good. All right. Next guy up, Dallas Cowboys, the star. We're talking about Michael Gallup, 6'1", 198 pounds, 25 years old. So very similar to Godwin in many ways. Actually has put up pretty good numbers, but not like Godwin has. What do you think about Michael Gallup? He's going to be a little cheaper. Another guy that injured, like all wide receivers seem to be.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it. Very similar. And I think we picked these guys because they do have a little bit of a name. They're younger. They're going to be kind of high end free agents, but another guy where it's like, man, he's injured. I don't know kind of what that looks like. How do we know if he's good? Does he come back half the year? Next, the back half of the year again, I think he's going to get paid. And, it's not worth the risk right now. And again, we've shown with St. Brown, man, give me a quick little rookie and we can do damage. For being just older, injured, the price tags, I wouldn't go for him.
Yeah. So here's the thing that just shocked me about Gallup. I'm going to throw some stuff at you. Targets. This is by year. 68 targets, 33 catches his rookie year. Second year, 113 targets, 66 catches. Third year, 105 targets with 59 catches. And then last year, 62 targets with 35 catches. Does that seem like a good completion percentage to him?
I don't get that. Right.
No. And a lot of it is because they go deep to him a lot. He's trying to be a big play wide receiver. The consistency isn't there for me. And I'm not going to pay a guy that, quite frankly, never developed like we thought he would off his rookie year. Like, I'd rather take a chance on a guy that hasn't been in the NFL yet, draft him, get him cheaper, rather than paying, I don't know, what do you think, 10, 12 million for this guy? Like,
yeah, I think so. I think so. And I don't think it's,
out. And I will say that about a lot of these. Of the 5, there's one that I really like, and I would probably spend money on, and it's not the one you're going to think. But I'm a little stingy on putting big money into free agents. I just am, especially when it's going to take up almost all your free agency money.
Yep.
All right. Next guy's a little bit more of an under the radar person. I've watched this team a lot with the Arizona Cardinals, and that's Christian Kirk. You put him on this list, and I thought that was really interesting. Speed, right? I mean, he is quick. He's 5'11", 200 pounds. Another guy who's only 25 years old. Why do you have him on the list, and would you consider it?
Yes, this is the guy I like, and I like, and it's a guy I want to go for. Again, I like quick, shifty wide receivers, and Kirk. The thing I like about him, 25 years old, and he just keeps getting better. He's staying on the field, staying healthy. Played all 17 games last year, which I just love to see that. And so he's a guy, again, I think his best years are ahead of him. And, even if that's just a couple years, I'll take it. He's, like I said, he's 25 years old. So here's a guy that just keeps getting better. If you look at his stats, he plays more games, more receiving yards, targets are up, yards are up, touchdowns. I mean, everything just seems to be trending the right way. So he's a guy I would pursue. And I think he can come in a little bit cheaper than the first two guys that we talked about.
Yeah, I think this isn't the guy I said is the one that I would go after, but you kind of convinced me in this. Here's the thing. Last year, 103 targets, 77 catches. That's a completion percentage I'm looking for to a wide receiver. And part of that is because he was the third wide receiver. And when you're the third wide receiver on a team, you're not getting covered by the best two corners. So that's helpful, but you can move them all over the field. Speed kills. You can even give it to him on an end around, like things like this. He is very versatile. And if you can get a guy like this under 10 million a year, like I think you do go for it. Why not? He's been pretty healthy. He has speed. Those are the kind of things that I think would be really, really helpful for Jared Goff. The only knock that I have is not against Christian Kirk. It's against Goff. He doesn't seem to do very well finding small receivers. It's just not something he's been tremendous at. I wouldn't say he's terrible at it, but he hasn't been tremendous. He likes the big bodied receiver, physical even. So let's see what that kind of plays out like, but it's still good find. I'm glad you put him on this list. All right. The next guy is a totally different mold. 6'4", 198 pounds, 25 years old, Jacksonville Jaguar, DJ Chark Jr. We can add the junior on there. Do you like this guy? What do you think?
Well, he's a guy that the reason I put him on the list is because I didn't know anything about him. And I've heard his name, but then, he's lost down there in Jacksonville. It's like, what's the deal? Like people are like this guy, check him out. And it's like, well, the reason is because his second year really came on the scene, had 73 receptions. He's like, okay. And then the last 2 years have just gotten weird. He got hurt. Urban Meyer said he's big, but he plays small. I mean, just thank you for that confidence boost. And he's not doing well at all.
Terrible.
Yeah. And I just thought, and this is like stats. I don't know enough about this guy, but he sounds like a Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions type of project type of could be good receiver if he comes in at the right price. Again, of course, we're going to say that every person, but I'm just like, hey, this is a guy that just hasn't had a chance. He did have one good year. Let's give it I would go for him. It's somebody I would pursue again at the right price. Let's go give him a chance.
I think the question is, what is the right price? Because I've seen the price tag that's floating around his name sitting around 12 million. Is that the right price?
No, I would need to be a little less than that. And hey, if he gets 10 to 12 out there, good for him.
Fun.
But
have fun, just not for the Lions. Yeah. I think you're right. Under 10, I would seriously consider him. He's a legitimate number one threat.
That's right.
He was that. Like if you can produce in Jacksonville at all, like that's good job. Like way to go. And I think we could absolutely use him, free him up. He's 6'4". He has 4.4 speed. I mean, he really does have all the physical tools. He really, really does. So I like the outside option. And this was the guy that I was like, he could be good. Like, he really could be good. But again, injuries. It's nerve-wracking when you see all these guys that are injured so much. It's just the nature of being a wide receiver. Really, it's the nature of the NFL in general at a skill position these days. But hey, the best ability is availability. And
that's right.
He's never played all 16 or 17 last year. He only played 4. So it was not a good year for him last year, but we can go off the ones before that, which were decent years for sure.
Yep.
All right. Number 5, Jameson Crowder, 5'9", 177 pounds. He's been around for a while. He's been around for a while. I want to say 7 or 8 seasons. And I thought it was interesting that you put him on the list. He's kind of the outlier. Why is he there? What do you think?
Yeah. So Crowder seems like he's been around forever. And when I saw him on the list, I'm like, no, I don't want him. I'm like, oh, I would have said he's 32 years old, but he's 28. And the reason I like him,
said that too.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I still don't know if I'd go for him, but again, he's got that same, hey, if you can make it in Jacksonville, if you can make it in with the Jets, it's like, man, this guy's putting up some decent numbers. And as I look through, he's playing most games, he's consistent, and it's like, man, here's another guy. Just because he's a little older, I thought we could get him at a little cheaper, and that would be a good fit for us. But he also seems like a guy that would come in and get lost and never play too. Like a semi-decent name that comes into Lions as a wide receiver that never sees the field. But it's like, man,
wide receiver. He's got another year or two in the tank.
Yep.
No, he doesn't.
No, we did that with running backs for a few years. We're like, hey, let's go. And it just, no. So Crowder, I again, at the right price, yeah, man, he's very consistent, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in and gets lost as well. So he's one that I don't know. What are your thoughts on Crowder?
I'm out.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. And I think it's because the Lions for so long have been looking for that older slot receiver that can come in. He's a good player. I mean, Danny Amendola. And I mean, we've had these guys in the past. It's just like, how is this the guy? How is this the guy that's catching 80 footballs? Like, he should not be catching 80 football. But I feel like Crowder's he would be a backup to Amon-Ra St. Brown at this point. I think they're very a similar mold. Crowder's a little older, a little slower, a little, I mean, he was more of what it was. So he's just that. I don't want to say a gadget wide receiver. I don't think that's fair to him because he's had some really good years, but he's never gone over 1,000 yards. He's never averaged over 14 yards per catch. So, he's doing a lot of underneath short routes. That's just kind of what his thing is. I don't think we need that. I might be wrong. We need an outside receiver. He's not it. So I say no.
And if you said, hey, do you want Jameson Crowder or just pick someone in the draft? You would take every wide receiver in the draft. Give it to me. Let's see what we can do. So yeah, that's just I'm with you. You've convinced me on that one. Like, just no, let's stop screwing around with that one. I
don't even know if he plays in special teams, but at the point where we'd be signing him to, I'd hope he'd play special teams because I don't think he'd get a ton on the outside. I don't think he'll play a ton. So, all right. So that's our 5 wide receivers. There's more wide receivers out there. I'm sure we're going to do another one of these things. There's other positions. Look forward to those videos for sure. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We want you to subscribe to our channel. We would appreciate it. And, if you like what we're doing, hit that. Also leave a comment below. We would love to talk and see what your thoughts are. Is there a wide receiver you want us to talk about next time? Who knows? Hey, see you next time.
See ya.